Okay.
All right, so we're live. So now I'm going to share my screen. 1 minute here. And hold on, wait. Before I do that, I'm going to turn off my video, or I'm going to turn off your video so that you don't see yourself in infinite regress on the screen.
Right.
Oh well, I don't know how to do that.
Should I turn off? Is there a way for me to turn it off over here?
Probably.
There's a stop video there.
Anyway, if it's okay with you, I'm happy. We ready to go?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so you can see my screen, I presume.
Yes.
All right. So I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of what I was doing there.
Okay.
So let me find that manuscript that you're talking about, and I'll just recreate the steps that I used to make one of those images. Okay. I'm like super organized here. Okay. All right. So you go to here's the deal. You go to the folder where you have your Maxent results.
Yeah.
That's where you start.
Okay.
And hopefully you checked a box when you've been running Maxent to say write plot data.
Yeah.
Great. Then you'll have a folder full of plots like I do here.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that folder, you won't have these spreadsheets because that's what I made, but you'll have these files here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say we're interested in calcium carbonate. And let's say we're interested in calcium carbonate for Texas pigtoe.
Okay.
So the first thing in here is whatever you called your species. So in the original spreadsheets that Maxent used for those points, I called Texas pigtoe TXPT.
Gotcha.
So it automatically puts that in the file name. Then it does an underscore, and it does the name of the environmental layer. So in my case, for the Texas pigtoes, I had, so here it is, Texas pigtoe underscore, and then the calcium carbonate layer is confusingly called that. Right?
Okay.
This is all from the input files that were put into Maxent, and then it auto-generates these files. And the one you want is, the species you're interested in, underscore, the environmental layer you're interested in, underscore, only.
Okay.
So that's where this is going to show you those response curves from Maxent.
Right.
So let me explain what I mean. So if we go to, so let me look up Texas pigtoe here real quick, and then we'll drop back in. So let me show you the Maxent results for Texas pigtoe. You get these response curves that are outputted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get two sets of response curves. One are for the response curves which are taking into account all the other variables in the model simultaneously. It makes it a mess to interpret. What you want are the second set of response curves down here. And you can see that there's categorical things as well as continuous variables. But the important thing is you get the two sets. And so these graphs here correspond to, so this corresponds, so the corresponding data file here would be TXPT underscore, this is groundwater recharge, underscore only dot DAT.
Gotcha. Okay.
So based upon that data file, Maxent produced these graphs.
Gotcha.
Right? And so, for instance, there's calcium carbonate. So what you can see is that as calcium carbonate levels increase, the probability of finding Texas pigtoes, or the habitat suitability for Texas pigtoes, decreases.
Right.
Values below 0, because that's just Maxent extrapolating. But anyway, you'd find that same data in the .dat file. The only problem is that in the raw Maxent output is that these graphs look like garbage, right?
Yeah.
We have to clean them up and look better. So anyway, that's where we're headed, is to make our own that looks better. So I'll come back in here to plots. I'll come back in here to Texas pigtoe Keiko mask only. So Texas pigtoe, calcium carbonate layer, and it's only that layer. So this is what the response curve looks like from a model that was built using only calcium carbonate.
Yeah.
That's what that means. Anyway, it's a .dat file, but it's really just I believe it's a comma delimited spreadsheet.
Okay.
So one thing you can do is you can rename the file. I believe. Wait. Well, let me just open it up real quick and have a quick look at it. Let me force it to open with text edit or notepad on mine. I guess it's text edit. I'm going to try to force it to open with that. Hold on. I forget exactly what format it's in, and that'll, make it different for how we open. But where is text edit? Name. Yeah, so this is a comma delimited. This is a CSV file.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just rename it. I'm going to just do CSV.
Okay.
Just so that it'll open up with in Microsoft Excel. Now, when I double click on it, it should just, yeah, there it is. It just opens
cool.
up. And everything's where it should be. And so now all that's left to do, once you know the secret of where to find these files, all that's left to do is to make the graphs.
Right. Okay.
How savvy are you with doing graphs in Excel? Would you like to see how I do it?
Sure.
Yeah, everybody says use R, but man, you can just spend days working on a graph and then when you're done, you've got one graph.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you have a bunch of spaghetti code that you can't really repurpose very easily. I just hate it. So anyway, here's the way that you do it in Excel. And this is on a Mac, but it would be similar for if you use a PC.
Okay.
So you highlight the two columns of data, the X and the Y, where X is the value of the environmental variable and Y is the habitat suitability. So I'm going to, I'm going to highlight all of it there, okay? I've highlighted all of it. I haven't highlighted anything else, just the data. And then you come here to insert, and we're going to do, bear with me while I figure this out. Let's try connecting them. So I'm going to say this one here. So this is going to connect the dots. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We're getting close. We're getting close.
Yes.
That connects the dots, and then you've got this video. You'll be able to see which one I selected. Next step is to highlight the chart and then go to, so make sure you've double-clicked on it, because now it still looks like hell. But now we've got it in there where we can format it. So I'm highlighting the chart, coming up here to data, chart source data, or you might have to right-click on it. And then there's also, here's what we want. Okay, here's what we want. So you have to right-click on it, and then first thing you want to do, let's move the chart. We're going to make it its own sheet, and we can call it CACO3 response curve, or whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay. So here we go. Now I get rid of all the Microsoft defaults, which suck. So I'm going to get rid of that title that looks terrible. And then if we need to add something in on our own, we'll add it in on our own and make it look good. Then I click on the gray lines, and I get rid of those. Okay. And then another thing is that the background of the chart is always white, and I set it to no color.
Okay.
Here, and I set that to no fill. And then there's also an outer border, which is annoying, but there's another border here, which is also white. I set it to no fill. Oh yeah, and then sometimes it'll draw like little faint lines, so I get rid of all those faint lines. I get rid of all the borders. I don't want a border there. I don't want an internal border either. Click in there, get rid of the border. Yeah, just like otherwise there'll be all these annoying little like pencil thin lines everywhere.
Yeah.
Like so now there's no actually no background. There's no extra little crazy borders. Then I come in here, and another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fix the x-axis because values below 0 don't make any sense.
Right.
So I do that by clicking down in here. And it's annoying to try to find the right place to click. Let's see, I'll try it again. You just kind of have to keep at it until you get it. Let's see here. No, don't want that. I want this. There we are. I got it clicked.
Okay.
All right. And then in here, yeah, I can set the minimum and the maximum. So I'm going to go from 0 until about, looks like 40 is plenty. Yeah, enter. And then the major units look fine. I'm going to add tick marks down here because they don't by default put in tick marks.
Okay.
I'm going to come in here to, they're here somewhere. Here we are, tick marks. They're in here. Tick marks. This will be different on a Excel on a PC, but you'll kind of get the idea of it. It kind of rhymes. So the major type of tick mark, we want it outside so the ticks are pointing out. Yes. Okay. And then we'll make those tick marks bigger. Because they're still little tiny things. So if you click on the tick mark, bigger. Or no, I know how to do it. With the whole thing highlighted, with the whole x-axis highlighted, if we come in here to the paint bucket and we go to the line, you don't want the line gray, you want it black. With the black.
Yeah, definitely.
Set it to about 5 point, something like that, maybe. The cap type, this is going to make those tick marks bigger, I think. Yeah, there we go. And I think we want it miter so that they're squared. Okay. That's kind of the gist of it for there. And then I do the same thing to the other axis. So I come in here and I don't want any patterns in there. I guess I can't get rid of it. Oh, well. Okay, so we're going to make it solid line, make it black, up to about 5 point font. Make it square, make it miter for the caps. 5. Square and miter. Okay, so we got it. Now it's starting to take shape. Now I'm going to change the font size for the axis, which they also make terrible. So with one of the axes highlighted, with only one of them highlighted. Oh, no, not that. Come on. Yeah, now I got just the one axis highlighted. I come up here to the font, and I usually change it to Times New Roman, but that's just a matter of taste. Enter. And then I'm going to make this about a size 20. 20 crazy? No, 20 is not crazy.
Awesome.
And remember that these fonts aren't going to look as big when they're in a figure, and the figures are. So you want to make the fonts very exaggerated.
Okay.
I'm going to do the same over here. So I'm going to come in and come in here. Axis options. Tick marks. Major type will be outside. Okay. Then I will fix the font to Times New Roman. Enter. Okay. Now we're cooking here. Now I'm going to highlight the series of points.
Okay.
And with them highlighted or by double clicking on it, sometimes you have to double click to get this format data series thing up. But with all of them highlighted, you click on format data series. And then we can make that line bigger. And so we'll, I don't know, make it red. Make it, I don't know, 5 point. There we go.
Cool.
Like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then once you have it like this, oh, I didn't make these numbers bold. Usually I like to make those bold. Something like that. Once you have it in a state like this, what you can do is, I don't know how you do this on a PC, but make sure you have the whole thing highlighted. What I do on a Mac is I copy it, and I open a program called Preview. and I paste it into preview. If you have Photoshop or something like that, you might be able to copy it out and paste it into Photoshop. What you want to do is get it out of the Microsoft format. You want to have it saved as just a picture.
Yeah.
So then I either save or export it, and I would typically export it as an image file. CaCO3 Texas Pigtoe. And you want to do like 600 pixels per inch. And then what you can do is once you have it in an image file, you can take that image file and put it like in a PowerPoint slide, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Add whatever other extra drawings you want. Like you can add whatever labels you want. It's easier just to draw those yourself in PowerPoint.
Okay.
A legend or something you can draw and make a legend. You can do that in PowerPoint on top of the image.
And export it out.
And then you can export that out. And the best way to export it out from PowerPoint, okay, hold on. The best way to export out from PowerPoint is, let's see, so I've got the image. So what I typically do then is I take the image in PowerPoint, and then I'll add a text box and write blah, whatever I need. Blah, blah. Maybe I'll add an arrow, make a box around it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Solid, no fill, solid line, 5-point line or something. 2-point line, blah, blah, blah. An arrow. And I'll make that arrow bigger. Mark. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Get the idea. And now that I have everything, if you try to export this slide, the resolution on it could be pretty poor. What I typically do then is I highlight everything, copy it, and then I paste that into whatever program you want, Photoshop.
Gotcha.
And then I save it out from there as an image again. So, blah, blah, .jpg.
Cool.
So that's the general idea. One more question. Are you interested in comparing and contrasting the response curves of multiple species on the same graph? So what I mean by that, is, so this right here is just for Texas Pigtoe.
Right.
So for instance, in your research, is there ever going to be the case where you would also want to show Texas Pigtoe and then show how it's different for, triangle pigtoe, something like that? Lines on the graph?
Not at this moment,
all right.
But if you want to show me.
You want to see? I'll show you.
Yeah, just in case.
So for that, what I do is, let's go back into our folder here. And we'll go back into our plots. So now we'll do for a triangle pigtoe. Find it. I just threw everything into the same results folder. I was very lazy, so it's somewhere. And don't use the ones with the replicate numbers on them. You want to use the ones that are just plain old. Up here at the top somewhere.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing to be careful of. So here it is. This is the one you want. Notice there's no replicate numbers there.
Yeah.
And the .dat file, triangle pigtoe, calcium carbonate only. So I am going to change the file extension to CSV so that I can open it in Excel. It should just open. Okay, so there we are. And now I'm going to take the data out of here. And actually, the only thing you need now are the Y values, because the X values will be the same. I'm just going to take the Y values out of here, copy them. I'm going to go back here into my Texas pigtoe graph.
Mhm.
And so this will be Y for Texas pigtoe. And this will be the habitat suitabilities for triangle pigtoe. So there we go.
Mhm.
Now, to add it to this graph, what I do is I click in here, get the whole thing highlighted, and I believe I right-click on it, and I click on Select Data.
Mhm.
And what I'm going to do is, let me give this one a name. This will be Texas pigtoe. Okay, I'm going to add a new series. So you see I had the plus there? I'm going to add a new series for triangle pigtoe. The X values will be the same. So anyway, let me just show you what I did there. Took me out of it. So this one will be Texas pigtoe. This one will be triangle pigtoe. So you have these little thingies here. I don't know if you ever used those before.
Yeah.
You click on it and then you highlight the data. So this is going to be for the X.
Mhm.
The same X data. That's just the values of calcium carbonate. So you select all of that, hit enter. And it's just the Y values that are different. So you come in here and instead of selecting the Y values for Texas pigtoe, you select the Y values for triangle pigtoe. Enter. And then you click OK. And now you can see that we've added triangle pigtoe on there and make the colors a little better. So make it, I don't know, blue. And we'll make it also 5-point.
Awesome.
And then you can add the legend in PowerPoint, or you can that's probably the easiest thing to do. Or you can also add the legend in here. I guess I can show you how to do that real fast. Yeah, for that under chart design, you'll have this thing that says Add Chart Element, and you can add a chart title.
Mhm.
You can add axis titles, which is something we forgot to do. So let's do that now. So we can add a title. And look, the defaults are always terrible, but we can make that bigger. So if we come here to the home button with that highlighted, we do Times New Roman, enter, we make that 20, we make it bold. We can change the title to calcium carbonate levels. You can even come in here, highlight just the 3. You do no, that's not right. Well, there's some way you can make it a subscript.
Mhm.
Anyway, something you could play around with. And then we'll do the same over here. We'll go back to chart design, add chart element. Primary vertical. And again, we'll highlight the whole box. Come up here to the home screen. Times New Roman 20, and make it bold. And then this will be habitat suitability. Yeah. And then let me take you back to that chart design thing. Add chart element. There's also for a legend. So we can add a legend wherever. Gosh, I don't like any of these legend options.
Yeah.
Oh, so anyway, it just ignored me and put it in there. If I drag it, it should, let's see, and okay, look at that again. Legend, none, right, top, left, bottom, more legend options. Well, it's something you can play with.
Yeah.
Adding a legend, or that's something as a last resort you can do in PowerPoint.
Okay.
But anyway, so that's, oh, and then when you're all done, you're going to want to save this out as an Excel spreadsheet. So you save your work. Don't save this out as a
CSV.
CSV.
Learned that the hard way.
Yeah. So anyway, and let me, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording then, if that's what you needed to know.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second here. If I can figure out how to stop it. Stop share. Stop recording.